G'day folks. Today we're back to Matchbox's bigger red range of kits as we look at the Canberra PR.9 kit PK408 of 1978, with this being a 1983 boxing. My first Matchbox Canberra came to me as a birthday present in 1983, the same year I attended an air show which included the official retirement of the Canberra bomber in Aussie service. This made me want to build this one as an Australian Canberra. I mean, it was named after our capital city, but I quickly realised that this model had a canopy straight off a jet fighter, not the big clear dome that the Aussie aircraft had. Ah well, it still built up into a very nice silver RAF example, and strangely enough, it flew around my house at the same speed as all of my other models, a sprint up the hallway. So let's have a look. We start with the box art, of course, by Roy Huxley. I haven't seen too many where he actually dated his artworks, but there you go. And this conveys speed and excitement, as exciting as a photographic reconnaissance aeroplane can be, but anyway. Then here we have the model built up without paint but with decals, and it's 3 colours. Then we have the standard end arrangement with a different picture, and yet another different picture showing that offset fighter type canopy. A little bit of info. The standard end arrangement on the other side. Then we have the 3 different colour schemes that this one came in. A 39 Squadron example from 1974. 13 Squadron 1970, and this lovely silver one from 1963. And of course, peering into the window, we get a hint of the goodies that lie within. So let's open her up and see what we've got. Very crisp box. Now, of course, I have to turn it over. Curly Decals. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. And of course, being a red range kit, the instructions are pretty big. So on the cover, you have the standard layout with the picture in black and white, a bit of prototypical information and some specifications. And being one of the big ones, of course, it's got to have complicated instructions. So we now have 11 steps. Bit of the old how-to up here. Step 1, you start on the cockpit. Step 2, put old mate on the seat. Step 3, the cockpit bulkhead and some of the internal parts in the window there. Step 4, the rest of the internals and the fuselage halves go together. Step 5, tail planes and that ventral panel there. And I notice that it has the cut the stand slot out if you're going to use it, which makes me wonder how long they used the stands for the big models. They got rid of them on the purple range, I think, by 1983, but here we have what I believe is an 83 issue, but still has the stand. Step 6, the part of the nacelles. Step 7, the front section of the nacelles. Step 8, wings and engines, etc. Step 9, nose gear. Step 10 are the main wheels. Step 11, everything else. And then we have the mini paint plan down the bottom here to detail it such as it was. And then the other side, we have the Humbrol paints in different colours. We have prototypical information in different languages and a bit more of different colours that you paint things. And then we have this layout here of where all the small markings go, and it just shows how the technology had advanced, or how much more Matchbox were willing to do by putting a lot of those small markings on the stencils and things. Yeah, which is not unimpressive. And the decals have curled over, so I have to do this carefully. So those small stencils there are pretty impressive for Matchbox of the time, and really good information about what goes where and on which aircraft. So I don't think these would be usable. I'm not going to peel the tissue back, but not bad for 1978. Now looking at the transparencies, we have a pretty fine, by earlier standards, clear sprue for the canopy and for the landing lights and the little windows in the nose. So we see that, yes, it is quite delicate. And proudly made in England. Then, of course, we have to look at the Monster Matchbox M stand. And just as a reminder, here's a normal one, just to give an idea of the size. Again, I'm not sure when they stopped using the big stands for the red range, but it was certainly after the purple range did away with them. So we've got the first sprue with the fuselage halves, and what you can see is some fairly fine panel lines, relatively speaking. And some bigger ones on the tail. So we've got wheels and undercarriage, got part of the nacelles, the other half of the fuselage. It's more like it. Cockpit parts, engine parts, the nose, cone, and the crew seats and cockpit. And the same from the back. So we see that it's 1978 stamped. Again, proudly made in England. The second sprue. The wing lowers, that ventral panel there, with the, I believe, the camera bay. Undercarriage doors doing it retracted. Undercarriage doors for extended undercarriage. Tail planes. Another panel. Then looking at the rear of the second sprue, you can see everything again. You can see, I didn't point it out in the instructions, but this panel here, this section here, is a representation of, it's not the bomb bay, it's the camera bay with the doors open. And then up here is the one closed. And they both have the slot for the stand, depending on which choice you make. So that was a nifty little feature. Here's the third sprue, the upper side of the wings and the tail planes. You can see here that it's perfectly camouflaged against my almost black background, but it's grey. So there's the detail. Yeah, and there's plenty to work with there. Bit of box scuffing going on. Good stuff. Now, I'm not sure when they introduced part numbers on the inner sides, but yeah, it's a helpful little feature. So that's the rear of the third grey sprue. So thank you for joining me, folks, as we've had a look at Matchbox's Canberra PR.9. Bit of an odd variant, but Canberra were very good at picking different topics to model. I believe that Frog also made a Mark 9, or it might have been a Mark 8, in addition to the B2. And Airfix, of course, made a B2, and I'm sure there are a few others since. But this is the one that I remember, and this is Matchbox. So please let me know what you'd like to see next from the stash. And again, I thank scalemates.com and matchboxkits.org for helpful information. See you next time. Cheers, folks.